everybody,
We just started Livestream.
or the group text for everybody.
Oh, okay.
And, so they're coming in.
Patrick,
Welcome everybody. Welcome back.
What's up, you guys?
I'll show you what it looks like here.
So we're getting ready to have a meeting, a streamer meeting with Santa, transparency and everything. Give it a few
Welcome
minutes.
Everybody. This will be
You
a
guys
sit
can
down
come
with
on.
Sam tonight.
Share
A
it
little
out.
bit more of a Q&A for you guys to have questions. We will be addressing some of those questions.
Here in about,
We had no idea
actually,
what we were doing.
moving on
Here we
in
have
about
I
8,
sent
9
out
minutes,
group
waiting
text
for one more
and
person to
with
show up.
everybody,
Whiskey,
and, hey, Dirk, it's kinda good to see you.
Everybody's in here talking.
Get everybody in.
And I think we have everything. You'd like for it?
Hey, guys.
Hey Gary,
We'll be going
Bridget.
to shortly.
Ooh, tornado sirens just went off in town here. Where are you, Bridget? I can't remember.
Frankie Bobby, the other streamer's looking for
So
you.
in the room right now,
He's on his way.
I've got Quincy, the black conservative preacher. You know, second, I'll flip around there and show you what I've got. So if you guys want to go on there, I won't be actually filling questions from my live stream, but you got Oreo.
Iowa.
Oops. Got Lizzie. Okay. And oops.
Oh, look at that little fancy thing there.
Got Mechanic Eric over there.
That's why I
Cat
knew it
Sparrow
was a
is
fancy
not a
chair.
live stream, he's a documentary filmmaker. And over there we got first responder.
Potato Head, we were getting the sleep
So
we
if you
need. How
want
about
to go
that?
live to ask questions, I won't be
West
asking
Virginia
her.
here.
I won't be talking from questions, and then you're gonna have,
We're gonna get it.
Ricky Bobby.
Frankie Bobby.
Frankie Bobby, Ricky Bobby, that's a, never mind, no, Ricky Bobby's over here. Thank you, baby Jesus, little baby Jesus.
That's our rumors right now.
Exactly.
That'd be flying quickly now.
Yeah, that's probably the wrong name to use.
Jody, yes,
Especially
Jody,
with our crowd.
we were blessed with this place,
So,
so
yeah,
it
Frankie
works.
Bobby,
We were
yeah,
looking
it's
for a
really-
place
don't
all
tell me
day,
if I said that.
and
Hopefully you won't watch
we
this.
got lucky with this one, so we'll take it, we'll take it. It was a little cold in here when we got here, it was 55 degrees in this room.
Hey guys,
Hello.
yeah, I've been kind of dormant for the past few days. A lot of stuff to pull together in a little bit of time. So, wow! But it's amazing what this group can do. This group is phenomenal, just phenomenal. There are days I get really frustrated that we're not getting enough done. And then I think back on what has been done. It's just there's a lot yet to do. But yeah, we'll get into some of that later, probably. I'm thinking maybe Uncle Deuce is here, Angela's here, Lady Buckeye. Thank you guys for being here, being the mods. Gonna be a lot of haters on here tonight. So.
Haters.
Hey, and Jalen says she's her and Matt are gonna be here tomorrow too with some watermelon.
Oh,
Watermelon.
welcome.
That should be better. Let's see.
He's just speaking to his stream right now, guys. Once we get
You know,
started, I'm pretty sure.
Last year I didn't get one piece of watermelon the whole season.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a watermelon freak. I mean, I love watermelon, and I didn't
Trying to
get
fix
one
the phone a
piece the
little bit, you
whole
guys.
season. Last season was just
Sparrows.
busy.
All right, I turned it up. See if it's better now.
That
Santa's
better?
soft. He's gentle.
Alright.
He speaks quietly.
He does speak quietly. He does.
I do.
Except when, if you want, I can get him going, you guys. If you want,
His stick is expandable.
I can get him to speak louder if you guys want me to.
Oh, let's not do that tonight.
All right. All right.
I can't, and I probably will get fired up.
Jalen will do.
I can't help it. It just comes out.
It does.
comes out.
Amen.
I don't mean for it to. I really, you know, I was driving around with
I'll
Rose
turn the
today,
phone around.
It's very loud.
and Rose was telling me that we was going into a bank, and I was going into the bank, and she said, "Won't you let me go in with you?" And she said, "Because your persona is a little bit." You know, I said, "What are you trying to say?" I said, "What do I look like?" And she's like, "You know, describes this guy that is not me at all." And I said, "No, that's not me." She says, "I know because I know you." She said, "But I'm telling you, what other people see is not what you see." And, I was like, so, I'm not that guy. I'm a really kind, gentle, loving people person, you know. Until you
Okay, I can't do anything about that, Julian, guys, you have to go find somewhere. Cause it's coming through fine on our side, so. Might be YouTube. YouTube is the place that's saying you can't hear.
Do you wanna go get, Frankie Bobby? Frankie Bobby, right?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, not, the other one was.
Can you go get Frankie Bobby, make sure he gets back here? I don't want him to be lost.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna be.
So, yeah, if you're having a problem hearing, you better go to another stream or fix your side, because I'm
Alright,
getting
guys.
text from all the mods that the sound is perfect. So turn up the sound on your side, guys.
I'll let you guys see all the streamers who are here.
You got a little carried away.
What?
He was the guy,
I just
he was
laughed.
the guy that got on stage and started talking.
Oh.
That-
Who was the race car driver in the movie?
Y'all are demanding.
Okay.
And obviously there's Oreo.
person everybody
Oreo's
worried
right
about.
there.
Absolutely
He was the
demanding.
guy that was
And
on
Wizzy's
stage
right there.
and started talking.
His name was Ricky
There's
Bobby.
His
Wizzy.
name was Ricky Bobby.
And
So, yeah, I didn't know that.
Oreo.
That's
So
why
If
I
all the
can't do
cameras
nothing
in
if
circle
90
each
people
other,
can hear
we
just
can
fine
travel.
and you.
There's
can't,
first
like 99
responders.
can do.
Oh.
To change that, I'm gonna keep it just.
And then,
everybody's
Eric,
running the same.
mechanic.
But only
Okay.
one
See, I
at a
didn't see
time.
that. I wasn't there.
In time.
Parking ticket
I
was
wasn't
Sort
$20,
of like
I believe.
the, Star Trek, what's that thing called where they travel?
Teleporter?
Teleporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the guy that got on stage was name was Ricky Bobby too. I was thinking of the movie Ricky Bobby.
Well, yeah, yeah, he kind of, you know,
As a wrong Ricky Bobby.
who had it first? Yeah, Scotty.
Hey, Dio, you out of the corner? I put Dio Williams in the corner one day because he was acting up, and like the next day they said, "Can you get Dio out of the corner? He's still in the corner."
All right, that's a good question. Mary Walker wants you to talk louder. Would you please speak louder for Mary Walker?
When we're actually talking, does that sound better? When we're
That
actually
sounds
talking, this will
Yeah,
be
we're
the
not,
volume.
yeah.
This will be
Mary,
the
Mary
volume I'm
Walker's
talking.
being very demanding tonight.
A
Mary,
lot of these folks are being
Mary, don't
demanding.
get cold for Christmas. I'm just saying. I feel a shift in the good to naughty list coming on, Mary. But I'll try to talk louder. If I start to mumble,
Okay.
just tell me.
Karen says check the email, I'm checking the email.
What kind of tough questions do you
I have
want?
a name.
Well, Wanda from Alabama.
I
Whatever
can't wait to give
seems
a
like a
name.
tough
Thank
question.
you.
for you. And it's not just questions. I don't know that I said tough questions. I said let's make room in the chat
What's
for real
help on
questions.
Sunday? What's going on
Not
Sunday?
the normal things you guys talk about in the chat.
Yeah, I have talked to Trucker G a couple times. I don't know if he's trying to get hold of me. I don't think he's trying to get hold of me today. Let me check and see.
Yeah, I don't have anything in my email, guys.
No, Trucker G hasn't tried to call me today.
Is there secure trailer parking if I bring a loaded trailer? Yes.
Yep, very secure.
Very secure.
Yeah.
It is a truck parking lot, rental.
Thank you, guys.
Truck parking lot. That is exactly what it's intended for.
And who was it that
Popeyes
brought
or
me those
Chick-fil-A
cookies in that
sandwich?
really nice box?
Nobody was,
It was
it's
in
not the
Ohio.
audio, guys.
I
Moderators,
haven't had
if
I
anybody
haven't
complains
had
about the
the,
audio,
Popeyes
before
chicken.
it starts,
I don't have any reference.
time them out
I
or
know who it
something,
was.
because we
Sorry.
just said,
With
once it starts,
Carol,
we'll
if I
talk,
remember
we're
right.
not started yet.
That was okay. That's what I thought. I thought it was Carol. Wow, those cookies were awesome.
Vicky.
I didn't share them with anybody else, though. I actually have a banner for my
Vicky,
bumper.
let's keep the questions about the convoy and what's going on.
And,
How about that?
Frankie
Let's
just
set
pulled
that.
up, okay.
You've established a
We're
new
getting play to
guideline.
play.
Tonight, it's about the convoy
Hey,
and it's
Taylor.
about freedom.
Did they unblock you, Tater? Cookie order, yes, absolutely. No, I do share my cookies, I do. Not all of them, but some of them I share. I've gotta quit talking about cookies, cause my truck has a ton of cookies on it. And I've given a ton of them away, so. No, I don't like cookies, I love cookies, I'm Santa, hello. Bye.
Thank you.
Frankie's in the room now. Hi Frankie, sorry, I now have you on the list.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
apologize, my bad, man. I was gonna do that night
I'm just gonna say.
and just totally blew it. I
Totally
apologize.
understandable. Totally understandable. Things happen.
Santa, what is your favorite
go.
color?
Blue,
Go over there.
Excellent. Yeah. You like blue.
I love blue.
How much do you love blue?
Well, it's actually my second favorite color. My favorite color actually is clear.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I was just doing a sound check.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's all that was.
I thought we were getting into my,
I just, people are like really just all about the sound tonight.
Yeah.
my favorite color is blue. My people are saying.
I'll be honest, the next
Well,
person
because
that
you
says
sit right next to
anything
the
about the
phone.
sound is getting escorted out the.
That's
gift
what
shop
I'm
door.
saying, that's what I'm saying, if I hear one more thing.
So, it is what it is.
So what you wanna do is go
I've
to
done
my
everything we
live
can.
stream, go to my live stream and watch my live stream on your phone, and then put one of them on the big screen so you can see it.
Right.
And of course,
Of
my
course.
lips probably won't be moving it the same way I'm talking,
Because
but.
some of you would seem to think that, like, I'm not gonna try. to
Right now,
sound
what
as
we're doing is
perfect
we're
as
actually
possible.
talking to our phones, so it's gonna be a little bit softer.
Barbara, relevant
changed
questions
my
is the questions you can ask,
system. I
relevant,
tweaked
not
it.
drama
I-
questions.
Change the dB level on the shotgun mic and.
Gonna clarify that, right?
Let's see that.
All right, we wanna,
Much like Wizzy, if I knew, and I would've brought my wireless mic.
we wanna get going?
Let's do it. Do we start with prayer and a pledge, or?
Prayer, let's do prayer.
Father, we thank you for this day, thank you for this opportunity to speak to the people around the world. Ask you, Lord, to help us answer the questions appropriately, honestly. Give me wisdom, oh God, in everything that we do here tonight. Give everyone here the blessing that you have for them. The people that are out there that want freedom, oh God, hear their voices as they cry out to you, and help us attain that freedom through the peaceful method that I believe you have called us to do. And I will give you praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Who's first? You want to just go around the room, one by one? Starting with you.
The main question right now is, do we have a mission statement? Everybody wants to know what's the mission and what is the 1776 movement plans to do moving forward after today.
Cool, good question, good question. I will read you something real quick. I gotta find it first. Where's the group at? There we go. Alrighty, this will be on the website, which is, we've got the domain secure, and so now we just gotta build the site, so we'll be trying to work on, I'll actually start working on that tonight. 1776 Restoration Movement stands united peacefully to regress our grievances and demand our government restore rule of law, restore our constitutional rights. the fear of government becoming too powerful worried the founding members of our great nation, and they had the foresight to include amendments to the U.S. Constitution that guaranteed the people's rights and provided security that no future politician or president could ever take away or disregard. We the people have just forgotten the real power we possess. In the very first amendment of the 10 Bills of Rights, the founding members of this great nation sealed the fate of any future power-hungry group or individual from creating any tyrannical rule over the people. It clearly states we, the people, have the right of free exercise of religion, of speech, of press, right of the people to peacefully assemble, and right of the people to petition the government for redress of grievances. Congress is prohibited from infringing upon any of them. 1776 Restoration Movement is that voice reclaiming the bullhorns from the scripted mainstream media and maniacal people that appear massive but are not representative of the whole, we the people. The nation belongs to us, and the 1776 Restoration Movement has drawn the line in the sand. We intend to shine the light of truth on the tyrannical and bring the people's grievances to the attention of everyone. Will you join us to preserve your God-given rights to defend our republic? That is our mission statement. And that will appear on the website when we get it up and running. That actually will start to appear on all the social media sites as well, just to give us an idea of what we're here for. We have the right to demand to be heard. And we are going to exercise that right. And if you do not believe you live in a tyrannical government or under a tyrannical government, just watch and see how they handle us. We are peaceful to our core, and we will remain that way to our core. And if they handle us as peaceful protesters, then it's not tyrannical. But as we've seen so far, the threats that have already been made against my CDL, against the impoundment of my vehicle, then I'm starting to get the gist that maybe it's not as peaceful as, or as representative as we think it is, so.
One of my viewers wants to know, is there any plans to visit one or more of the dozen corporate, corrupt media stations in DC?
There's, what we're doing right now, we have very little money. We just started 4 days ago. And so finances are a big issue, obviously. To dovetail on that, we have a Give, Send, Go that we have established. We're just waiting for it to be, I don't know what's wrong with it. I've never done a Give, Send, Go, but it's telling me that it's,
Pending?
no, it doesn't say pending. What is the word they used?
I thought you said deactivated earlier.
It's not deactivated, it's closed.
Disabled?
Maybe it was disabled. Here we go, my campaigns. Disabled.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. If anybody out there understands what that
We'll
means.
work on that after here. I'll compare it to what mine looks like.
Okay, but we do have a Give, Send, Go set up. It's just not actually active right now. So funding is, we can't go out and convoy every day, long convoys, doing certain things like that. I will tell you that the next couple of days, we are going to be hitting some of the smaller towns. We're going to break up into 2 convoys. We're going to go into these smaller towns. We have a rally planned here at our site here at, where are we at? Bunker Hill. Here at Bunker Hill, we have a site, and we were thinking about going back into one of the towns and doing a rally Saturday. Somebody said, being Memorial Day, a lot of the places are going to be full, so that we can't use it. So we've got a site, we're paying for it. Why not just go ahead and use that site? So we're going to get out and go to all these smaller towns around here. There's a lot of small towns around here, and pass out flyers announcing what we're going to be doing Saturday. We have a DJ that's coming in things of that nature. As far as back to your question about hitting the media sites, they are a part of the corruption. There is absolutely no doubt about that. But as far as going up into their spaces and getting in their faces, it's not really what this movement's about. They will cover us eventually. That's the whole point, is to get them to cover us. I don't think me going in and saying anything to them is going to make a big difference. We stopped in front of Fox News one time and blared our horns for a while, and didn't do anything. So I'm not sure that that's going to be a main push of mine. Right now, my main push is to try to see how many people are going to join us. And honestly, I know that that's a tough call for a lot of people right now. Number one, the original convoy wasted a lot of goodwill. We addressed that back in Olympia. And after what happened on Friday, it's further wasted a lot of goodwill, and a lot of faith was destroyed. And I respect that. I understand that. But here's where I stand on that. This is about our freedom. And there's nothing I can do about what happened. There was absolutely nothing I can do about what happened. Somebody posted on one of our social media sites, why didn't you just go on in? we didn't have any money. We didn't have any food. We didn't have anything. And when you're doing an operation like that, you've got to have things in order. You've got to have your ducks in a row. We've got enough to worry about the nefarious actors that are going to be coming to us in the middle of the night, much less, having something to feed people with. I can't let our convoy members wander through the streets of DC in that environment looking for food or looking for a bathroom or whatever the case may be. And so it was, number one, it was stunning. I mean, it literally was like getting hit with a baseball bat. And number two was we have to, there's times you have to fall back, regroup, replan, then move forward. And so that's what we're doing right now. I am so amazed at the group of people that are with us right now. It's phenomenal what they've been able to pull together in just 4.5, 5 days now. Absolutely stellar. I've planned youth camps in the past, and we worked for weeks on getting those youth camps up and running. Weeks. And wasn't this close after weeks of what we're seeing here. So does that answer your question? I kind of went off some rabbit trails there. Okay.
No, I think you did good.
Wizzy?
Sorry, I had to mention to somebody that there is no missing $1 million. It's gotten out of control with people.
Yeah. Did some of your people have a question that you want to address, or do you have a question?
There's a lot of questions. I don't know how many of them are good questions, because it's tough with people these days. I noticed that when there's new people that come into the streams, you're having to do a lot of catch up. And you've talked about sort of what the goal is of the movement. You've talked about sort of a plan. But could you give, for the new people, a very quick overview in the sense of what is the movement in the easiest, simplest terms about? And what do you want?
I think a large portion of the American population right now knows there's something wrong. They just aren't as in tune with political happenings as some of us are, but they know in their hearts, they feel something isn't right in our nation. Well, what's wrong in our nation is that our government has become so big and so bloated and so nasty and so vile that they are literally right now trampling on our individual liberties. One of the ways they do that, guys, is they are doing what's called collective liberties. They put a group together and they give them special liberty, or they give them special rights, if you will. Whenever you take a group of people and give them special rights, you immediately trample on the rights of those who are not in that group. The Constitution does not do that. The Constitution gives everybody equal rights. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So that's just one of the ways that they're trampling on our individual liberties right now, is by, and that's purposeful. They're doing that on purpose. They're trying to divide us and make us fight with each other. If we don't stop that kind of idiocy in our government leaders, then none of us are going to have any rights. COVID-19 revealed the true nature of those in political office right now. It really revealed the nature of what they're about. My son, his job required that he have the you know what. And he done that to keep his job. Well, that's business. That business has the right to do whatever it wants to. No, that's not what happened there at all. What happened there was that business is controlled by the government. They have government contracts. And so the government comes in and says, okay, this is what we're wanting to do. You've got contracts with us. If you don't do it, then we're just going to pull your contracts. Mike Lindell, his accounts were closed down during all of this. And not because of the pandemic, but because of other things that he was pursuing. Well, if you've got your money in a bank, I don't care if it's millions upon millions of dollars, and the federal government comes in and says, you know, you're FDIC insured, and this person is, one of your account holders, and we think he's a nefarious actor. So we're going to come in and we're going to audit your whole bank. Well, that bank's getting ready to spend millions of dollars for that audit. Or you can drop this guy and then your problems will go away. Do you see how that's working? This is what our government has become. FDIC insurance sounds really good on the surface. Oh, if the bank goes under, the federal government will insure my money. Oh, that's what we want. That's what we want. No, that's not what you want, because every time the government gives you something, it's taking control of that part of your life. Okay, how many here were raised in a house with parents? They gave you everything, right? They had complete control of you. Not your mind, maybe, but my dad told me, I don't know how many times, my house, my rules. Well, that's because he was supplying everything for me. That's the danger of big government. If they are giving you, we got people that they now live on their Social Security. That's about the only income they've got coming in. They're scared to death. They've been doing this for years. I mean, decades we've been seeing people, we need to control Social Security spending. Well, first of all, they should have left Social Security alone and stopped borrowing from it and not paying it back. Because if they'd have left that alone and let that grow, there'd have been enough to take care of everybody. But they're politicians. They steal. Let's just be honest. And so now we've got people that are controlled by the government because the government is handing out their money to them. And it's a frightening thing. I get that. But that's how governments do things. They control people. So what we're wanting to do with the 1776 Restoration Movement is we want to restore a constitutional republic where everybody that is an American citizen has their individual liberties. You got to understand something about that Constitution. It doesn't limit us. That's what we've let them sell us the bill of goods on. We've let them make us think that the Constitution limits me. No, the Constitution limits them. It plainly tells them what they're not allowed to do to our individual liberties. Get that in your mind. Get that in your heart. They have sold us a lie, and we believed it. So we want that reversed. And that comes through education. We've got to educate ourselves, educate our friends. that the Constitution is about restricting their ability to take away my rights. They're actually supposed to protect those rights, not infringe upon them. So we want to see us return to a constitutional republic. Somebody got on the one of the social medias, and I just read a lot. I don't comment a lot on it, but I read some of the stuff because I want to know what the people are saying. I really do want to hear what people are saying. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want to hear what you're saying. I'm talking to you guys, you know, we've had, 2 or 3 meetings now. I'm asking them, all you live streamers, I'm asking them, what are your people saying? What do we need to address? Because I want this to be about you guys that are at home. It's not just about me. It's not just about the people in this room. It's not just about the people back over there at the campsite. It's about the people of the United States. I want to know what you're thinking. I can't come and talk to all of you, but I can talk to, these are your representatives. The people that are live streaming here today, they are your representatives to me. And we have meetings with them. It's one of the first things I've done was meet with these live streamers and talk to them about where we go from here. What are your people saying? What are their questions? So we want to restore a constitutional republic. This guy says, well, doesn't Santa know that we're already a constitutional republic? Technically, he's right. But that stop sign is supposed to stop. You're supposed to stop at that stop sign every time you come to it, right? Technically, do you always do that? No. And when we've gotten into the place that we pull up, look both ways, roll on. That's exactly what the government's doing with the Constitution. They've gotten so comfortable with ignoring it that it's now become a problem for its citizenry. And we've got to address that. We've got to be ruled by the Constitution. It is the law of the land. There is no other law. One of the ways that we're wanting to do that, one of the things that we're addressing as the 1776 Restoration Movement is restoring morality in America. And I've got a lot of kickback on that because a lot of people think that I'm talking about my religion. Well, I actually addressed that one on a Telegram chat the other day. Every religion on the face of the earth, every country on the face of the earth has a system of morality. There are some countries that have completely different religions than mine, but they still have that basic tenet of morality, of how we work with each other, how we treat each other, how we respect each other. Nature has its own morality. And I don't care what religion you are, there's a moral compass there somewhere that we have to find again. And we have literally taken the moral compass of America and thrown it out the window. And when you do that, what happens is we are a representative republic, which means the people in office, they represent us. And a lot of times we think about that and say, well, they're supposed to be speaking for us. No, they represent what kind of people we are as well. And if we are immoral people, guess what kind of representatives we're going to have? Because they represent us. They come from us, and we allow them that power. We allow them that position. So if we're immoral, is it any wonder that our representatives are going to be immoral? And why is that important? Why is it important that we have moral leadership or moral representatives? Well, immoral people don't care to trample all over your individual liberties. They're immoral. They don't care about anything like that. So we need people in office that respect that are moral people that will respect our individual liberties. And in order to do that, then we have to become a moral society again. And if you choose to do that through whatever religion I'm not here to push my religion. That's a completely different pulpit. That's not what I'm talking about. And so everybody gets all upset because they know I'm a Christian. They think that that's what I'm trying to push. And I would love for everybody to be a Christian. I like for those people who say they're Christians to actually be. So that's one for you. I wish I was a better Christian, just to be honest. So does that answer the question? Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, this kind of ties in. You answered some of the question here, but it says, what is the ask now? The mission has grown from being a mandate to a general Christian restoration of the land. So what is the demand now? And I'm going to tie that into, because I'm getting a lot of comments, originally this was about mandates. How do we tie in what you're saying into ending the mandates and ending the craziness?
If we return to a constitutional republic, the mandates will go away automatically because they are stepping on individual liberties which are covered by the Constitution. As far as becoming the use of the word Christian there, we were founded on Judeo-Christian principles. There is absolutely no way around that. That if you read the Constitution, they literally put, those are biblical principles that they put together in that. Why it's important that we understand that our liberties are given to us by God. It's very important that we understand that. Now, you may not believe in God, and that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. But why we have to, as a nation, understand that the Creator gave us our liberties. Well, if those liberties came from anywhere else, then they can be taken by whoever gave them to us. If the government gives us our liberties, or if the Constitution itself gives us our liberties, then all you got to do is change the Constitution and your liberties are gone. But if those liberties come from our Creator, only He can take those away. And guess what? He's not going to. So it's important that we understand where that comes from, the core of that, and why that's important that we understand that is that we've gotten to the point now where they've convinced us that they give us our liberty. No, they do not. It doesn't matter what law they make that steps on my individual liberties. That's not my problem. That's theirs. They done that. So when they come out and say, you have to do this and you have to do that, and it goes against my individual right, I don't have to listen to that anymore. They govern by the consent of the governed. That's us. We're the governed. They govern by our consent. You need to understand that. If they make a stupid law, if they make an ignorant law that violates the Constitution, we have the right to say no. For example, I'm hearing rumblings that the WHO may not be going to be voting on that. They're talking about pushing it back a little ways. I'm glad to hear that. But if they give our sovereignty away to the United Nations, I don't care. I do not care. They cannot do that. That is not their right to take away my rights. It is not their right to give away American sovereignty to a foreign entity. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. And Americans have to understand that and stand up against it. This is your country. It's not theirs. They're a very small part. You don't understand. We make up the majority. The people that sit on Capitol Hill, who fill Washington, D.C., who thinks they're our leaders, they're not. We have the power. The people are the power. And it's time that we understand that and get that. Is anybody complaining about volume now?
No, thank you.
They'll find something to complain about.
Right?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, listen to this. We just read this yesterday. This is the preamble of the Constitution. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So that's what we're doing here. Let me make this abundantly clear. I'm not talking about overthrowing the government. The system of government that our founding fathers gave us is fine. The problem with it is those people who fill those offices are acting illegally. That's the problem. And until the American people stand up and say, no more, absolutely no more, then they will continue to act illegally. If someone comes into your house and goes through your refrigerator and steals your chicken out of the freezer and goes home and cooks it, and you don't say anything about it, the next day they come back and they get your pumpkin pie and they go home and eat it, and you don't say anything about it. The next day they come back and get your television set and they go out. They're acting illegally. But if you never stand up and stop it, that's really on you. So instead of sitting at home and complaining about how bad the government is, how about you join with us? And let's go to Washington, D.C. and declare our grievances, why we don't want this to happen anymore. Because they're not stealing your television set. They are. Because now you're working just to try to make ends meet. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but these people are going on lavish vacations, and you're just trying to get to Disney World for a couple of days and trying to pinch pennies, trying to make that. You know why? Because they're taxing you to death and not representing you. Do you know why we had the war with England to gain our independence? One of the things that we had was taxation without representation. Do you know what the tax rate that England was putting on the American colonies at the time was? 3%. Wouldn't you love to have a 3% tax today? That's why we declared our independence from England. 3%. I don't know what it's going to take to wake the American population up. You're sitting at home. You are literally struggling from day to day, from week to week. Your bank account is ending before your week is done. What in the world? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because of your work ethic. It's because the government. Look at your paycheck and think about how much better your life would be if you could keep more of what they took away from you. And what are they doing with it? They're wasting it. They've literally spent us into oblivion. Even with all the money they have taken from us over the years, they are $33 trillion in debt. You know what $1 trillion is? Let me explain to you what $1 trillion is. If you had, at the time Christ was born, I came up and I handed you $1 trillion. And every day from the day Christ was born until today, you spent $1 million every day. You still have money left over out of $1 trillion today. And there are 33 of those in debt. Do you understand? Are you getting it? And that's just what they've got on the books as debt. That's not the undeclared debt. You cannot run a home that way. You cannot run a business that way. And you cannot run a government that way. Because one of these days, it's going to collapse. And I'm going to tell you something. That day ain't far from right now. We are on the verge of financial collapse. We have to go before them. They're not listening to you. And if you're hoping for November's elections to solve this, I don't know what to tell you. If you think the other side's better than one side is better than the other side, somebody said the other day, they're just two wings on the same bird. Just for example, if you've got a lot of hope in the Republican Party, the Republican Party had the House and the Senate for 2 years under Barack Obama. They passed, I believe it was 6 bills to repeal Obamacare. 6. Of course, Obama's going to veto them. They do not have a supermajority, so it's vetoed. 6 times they put a bill on his desk for him just to veto. And then the American people give him President Trump. So for another 2 years, they had a man in office that wanted to repeal Obamacare. Anybody tell me how many bills they passed to sit on President Trump's desk? Not one. They could not pass one. When they knew it would be vetoed, they passed 6. But when they knew it would be signed, they passed none. What does that tell you about the grand old party? It tells me that all they'd done during that 2 years was try to get power in the next election cycle. And the American people were like, oh, they're doing it. When they get a Republican in the presidency, oh, they're gonna really no. All they are concerned about is retaining their power. That's it. And what you've got to be concerned about, or what you've got to understand, is have more power than they do. Did I address that question?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
You've answered all the questions I've had coming through and anything that I've been being asked pretty much
Well,
so far.
make up something.
But I was going to say, well, okay, just to hit you up real quick. First off, everybody that was watching me earlier when I was over at the camp, they all wanted to tell you hello. They said that they miss you. They miss you on your streams. Angela Brewster said she'd tell you she loves you. They said that you wouldn't know what that meant. But anyway, I guess for me, one of the things that, and it's probably going to come from what a lot of the viewers have said as well. A lot of the people feel like we're not being transparent right now. How much more transparency do the viewers want? I'm not 100% sure. I know that I see a lot of stupid talk, people saying crazy things on chat all the time. And I try not to play into it in any way, shape, or form, and I try to get it shut down off my chats, whatnot. But I guess the biggest thing that a lot of people really want to know is, why aren't we having full transparency with what's going on? Even though, and I tell them how infantile we are and everything like that, that we're still in our infancy. But they still ask the question, and I get it all the time.
If they're asking about this movement,
Yeah.
then I can promise you that as soon as we, all we're getting right now is cash donations, which are being recorded and stuff like that. But at the end of every week, I have called for those records to be released to the people. I want the people to know how much came in, what went out. I want them to know what it went out for. We're not even a week into it, so you got to give us a week to bring the numbers together. So that will be happening.
Okay.
That's going to happen. I understand that, and the reason that has to happen, I'm not ignorant. If I was from the outside looking in, and I had sent in $50, $100, $150, $1,000, $2,000, whatever people have sent in, if I'd have been sending it in to the last movement and seeing what I'm seeing now and hearing what I'm hearing now, I'd be ticked off. And I would say, I'm done with all of it. I get that. I totally get that. I have absolutely nothing to do with that last convoy. I was just a leader. I wasn't a part of the organizers. I had nothing to do with the money. Had nothing to do with anything like that. My portion of that entire convoy came from California back to Washington D.C. or back to Hagerstown. That's where that entire route from California up to Olympia, then back to Hagerstown. That was my plan, all right? All I was trying to do was get that convoy built on the way back through there. And there was, that was, how do I say that? That was the fullness of what I had to do. I can't get the word to come to me that I wanted to use there. When that collapsed, there's nothing I can do about that. There have been some people that have wanted me to, this movement, to go after that movement. That's not what this is about. I am not going after that movement. I'm going after our freedom. Right. I hate what happened there, but I can't undo what happened.
Right.
I can only do what I have in the future for me to do. I've tried to take the high road with everything. I'm not that person that likes to get up and make slanderous comments about other people, about other organizations. I try my best not to do that. The only time I will do that is when they are personally attacking me and I have to defend my character. And so I have done that, and I'm done with that now. I've explained that, and if people want to still believe the other side, that's fine. I have no problem with that. That's your choice. I have done what I needed to do to clear my name. Our transparency, and I think a lot of people that are saying that, they're trying to cast dispersion on us. There's no way you can call for transparency 4 days in.
Right.
There's no way you can call for that. I mean, I've got my live streamers reporting everything we're doing. That's about as transparent as I can get right now. Up until this morning, we had spent nothing of the money that was brought in. That's the transparency. Up until we fueled up this morning every bit of the money that was handed to us from the beginning, from that Friday night over in the parking lot over there until this morning, we haven't spent anything. That's about as transparent as I can get. And the fuel bill this morning was just under $1,300. So, okay, there you go. I'll give you our first budget analysis there. So that just shows you how much money it's going to take to operate this. As far as our mission statement and stuff like that, people are wanting us. I can't wave a magic wand and all this stuff appear. There's things, this started on a Friday night. It's hard to get things done during a business day when you got half a day on a Saturday, and you're really, what you're most concerned about is getting these people fed. So we got through that. Now we're in a static location. We're here for a while. Things are going to start to smooth out. I can feel it starting to smooth out. And so we're going to get things done. It just takes a while to build this, guys. I mean, if you think that we're going to have this done in 4 days, 5 days, a week, that's just, you're being ludicrous. I mean, you're not thinking clearly. We are used to having, all of us here, even the people in the movement here, we are used to having everything that we need. I didn't think about when we pulled up to fuel up.
It's called thinking like a chatter. Everybody in chat thinks things just happen at the snap of a finger.
Yeah,
right.
They don't realize, they don't have the reality of what it takes to do something like this. We watch BLM and Antifa riot for months and do their thing.
Yeah.
They go out for a couple hours. They don't go out for 90 plus days.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's and there's 2 days that, thank God for Rose, because she's my chief of staff. She's the one that keeps me on track. But 2 days we have traveled for hours trying to get paperwork and stuff filled out and things like that was needed. And honestly, I've never done this. I've all the leadership roles I've been in, I've had weeks to plan things, weeks to pull people together to get things done. I will tell you this, and I think you've seen it at the camp, we are utilizing a lot more people. There is a lot of people doing different things now. We have people, and there's some people's not even there that are doing things for us, and it's just amazing. That's why we've been able to get this done so quickly, is because we're not keeping it to just these people right here are doing it and nobody else can do it. No, if you've got a talent, then you're going to be, and then we find out about it, it's lassoing you in and getting the job done. It's about getting the job done and getting things out there. So we will be as transparent as we possibly can be. Because, and the reason for that is I understand the hesitation to even jump on board with us. I get that, but I promise you, our hearts are in the right place. We were just as disappointed and disgusted as the people at home are. We were just as hurt. I felt like I took a baseball bat to the chest. I literally, when they told me that we were disbanded, all I could do was stand up and say, "It's been a pleasure," and walked out. I was so stunned that that's all I could say. And then my anger built. and then I was sitting there in my truck. I pulled up and I was sitting at I went to the pilot up there first, and I thought, I'm going to DC tonight. And then I got a phone call that there's a bunch of people coming to the pilot to see me. I said, no, don't come here. It's a very small pilot. And I thought if 10 or 15 of them come out, this place is going to really interrupt other drivers that are currently working. So I told them to meet me over next to the IHOP, and it wasn't 10 or 15 that came out. It was pretty massive. And so anyway, that all happened.
Good, thank you.
We'll be as I promise you, I will be as transparent as I possibly can be. I'm not going to hide anything from the American people. I am not a stinking politician. I'm a truck driver.
Good.
I come from where they come from.
Correct.
I've not been raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. My daddy wasn't some big wig in some big corporation that bought me my position. Everything I've got, I've earned by the sweat of my brow. And I understand where the American people, I have lived from paycheck to paycheck. And I know what it's like when God lays on your heart to make a donation to something and you don't really have the money to do it. And you begin to think about okay, if I do this, then I'm gonna have to let this go or that go. And so I get that. And that's why I hate to ask for anything from anybody, because you know what, you know who gives in those situations? It's the people that really don't have to give. The fat cats that's got all the money in the big bank accounts, they just sit there and laugh at us. But we will do our best to fight for your freedom in a peaceful way. I have to keep saying that because it's already blown it all to pieces.
Well, I have a bunch of questions now.
Yes, so do I.
One at a
Where's that
time.
about, Santa?
All right, so one of the top ones that everybody's asking me to read is delegation is critical. Those on site don't have full bandwidth to effectively manage PR, social media, website, etc. Will they accept offers from at-home volunteers to help? Many have offered.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's the specific need? If you're emailing me, or if you're sending me emails right now, I haven't checked my email since all this went down. I haven't had time to. But if you go on the social medias, those things are being monitored at a better rate than I can monitor. When I done the email thing, it was just me doing my thing. It wasn't that big of a deal. Now people are probably hitting that email with everything in it.
I think he's talking more people that can do like computer resource stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have a better internet connection,
Right.
so like web
Yeah.
design, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Can
I caught
be done
that.
remotely.
I caught that. Yeah, we got limited.
Right, so
access out there.
they're basically asking, is there something that people can do
Absolutely.
at
That
home?
you don't have to be in the convoy for your, I'm sorry. Oops. I said the word.
The
You don't have to be in the
restoration
restoration movement. You don't have to be physically here for us to, I've got people that are off site that are doing such things as that. We do have a person that has already given us a secured server for our webpage. Now we just got to build it, and he's already got it all set up where it's secure and stuff like
Okay.
that. So he's off site. So yes, if you've got some kind of talent that you want to bring to the table, absolutely.
So how do they get a hold of you? Just the email?
The best way right now is to go through our social media until we get the website up and running, and then that's another thing that we're needing. We're needing people that monitor, like my email. You know, I would be willing to. It's a junk email account that I built just because somebody on YouTube said they wanted to send me some information. I'm like, you know, so if somebody wants to do that, I'll give you the password to it because it's not really connected to me in any other way. But you can go through there and read those emails, and if there's something that, when I give that out, I started getting pictures of people's dogs and inspirational stories, and I love those. Normally, I love inspirational stories, and I appreciate the sentiment that they send that with. But you got to understand, I've only got 24 hours in a day, and I really need to sleep at least 2 of those in order to function. And I can't do everything that I can't read everything that's sent to me. So if we can keep them to something that's pertinent, but if there's people that want to help us in that area, what I would suggest is if they can get that to maybe one of you guys, and you bring it to me. If there's somebody, you guys know your people better than I do. And if you got somebody that you feel like is vetted and can, and I'm not gonna. Here's the deal: is the danger in that is that we get some Yahoo
Right.
in here that's trying to destroy the movement. So I want somebody with whoever handles my emails. It's going to have to be somebody that's fully vetted. That I'm not going to let some
Right.
somebody that's making and the people that are making the memes about me. Thank you. Those are the best memes I've ever seen on social
I'm
media.
a little jealous. I'm a little jealous.
I never thought I would be the guy that was in a meme, but anyway, did that answer that question? Yeah. If you've got, once we get things up and rolling, our social media is actually doing pretty good right now. But we need people to monitor those things and get the information to us. We have a system in the camp itself where we've got, I told us I can't listen to everybody's. I want to hear what everybody has to say, but I can't. It's impossible. If you remember the biblical story of Moses, when he led the children of Israel out of Egypt, they got out into the wilderness some ways, and Jethro, his father-in-law, came out and he looked at him and says, "You can't do this." I'm just breaking it down into modern English. He said, "You can't do this." He was literally hearing everybody's complaints. He was set all day long and listened to nothing but those people's complaints. So he said, you gotta break them up and put captains over some and captains over others and break it down to where these people handle the problem. At the end of the day, all they're doing is bringing the most weighty matters to you, the things that they can't, do and fix. So that's kind of what we got there. And I still got some that, I had a guy walk up and he said, should I get my stuff and take it into DC with us? Because I live on the other side in Virginia. So when it's over, I won't have to come all the way. Why are you asking me that for? I don't care what you do with that. But that's the kind of stuff that still gets through. But anyway, back to you.
Okay, we touched on the mission statement. We touched on what the movement believes in. We touched on the transparency part. I think people are hurt right now. What just went happened the last couple of days. People are wanting answers, but people are also hesitant to start donating to new movement. Can we touch on what's the plan? Let's be transparent. What's the plan for the next 2 weeks coming? What can the people expect from the 1776 restoration movement? I think that's what everybody's trying to pretty much boils down to. What is the 1776 restoration movement has planned to do within the next 2 weeks? Are they planning to just sit around in the parking lot? That's one of the biggest questions. Are they going to go out and act upon what was said on the way over here? That's the biggest question right now.
And that's and I feel the same way. And I understand. That's what I said. Well, I understand how people are hesitant. I understand how they're hurt. You gotta understand, man. It wasn't just us that had this hope. It wasn't just us that were physically in the vehicles that had that hope. I don't know how many people all across the country come up, hug me, and while they're hugging me, I feel their body begin to shake as they're crying, weeping on my chest. I understand that. I get that. There's nothing I could have done differently. There's nothing I could do about that. I was told that that when we got there, we would do what I said we were going to do. But I had no control over the organization as a whole. I had no control whatsoever. I was a very lowly part of that. They'd let me make the plan. They said that they would do the plan, and then at the last minute, they ripped the plan out and threw it away. Nothing I can do about that one. But this one, we can. You understand that I know you're hurt. I know that you have misgivings because of what just happened. But if we do not get the support we need, then we are sunk. I only had about $12,000. Now I've gotten some more in. Minion, who drove the yellow truck that was with us for a while, he done a fundraiser the other night on his Rumble stream and raised almost $3,000. That hasn't been, that's okay, transparency. That's now actually still sitting in my Cash App. Got to get that transferred into my account. I'm waiting for 3 days because I don't want to waste the money. I want every dollar that was sent to go to the convoy, to the movement. I had a little bit of money in there that people had sent to me. It's all going. I'm going to wipe that thing out, send it all in. It wasn't that much. It was $200 or $300 maybe. All of that's going. I don't care. I'm not in this to profit from this. I'm not going to talk about me, but that's where it's going. So we have probably about $15,000 now. Once we put all that into the account. I will say this. Okay, it's a good time to address this. Again, transparency. I have tried for 2 days to get a bank account set up. I went to, I don't know how many banks, but I am in West Virginia. My EIN number, all of that stuff is registered in Ohio. They will not set up an account here. The only place that would, I messed it up. I went on to US Bank and was setting up a business account through them. I was waiting on a physical address where they could ship the credit cards and the checks, and it didn't come in until about 9:30 this morning. So I went back on the website. Of course, all that's gone. So, not thinking about it, I went back on and started just rebuilding another account, not thinking that they've got all my information and they're seeing now 2 accounts being built, and they refused to accept it because they thought it was fraudulent, because there was 2 accounts being set up under the same person's name and ID and all that kind of stuff, and I have to go to a U.S. bank in order to resolve that. There's not a U.S. bank anywhere near here, and I don't know if it's worth it. I hate leaving. I've been gone for 2 days now trying to get stuff done, and I hate to leave. And because I know the fear of the people there. You gotta understand, the same things that's going on at home, that's going on here. And when I pull off and I'm gone for hours at a time, just about every time I leave, I come back and there's something going wrong. And I'm not there, and it's not getting handled correctly. So here's what I've elected to do for the interim. I still want to get this set up in the future correctly once we have the time to get it done. But I have a business account that I've had for years. I've got some money in it. I'm transferring all the money out. Well, I'm gonna leave some in there, but I'm gonna transfer the money out of that. We're gonna use that. It's Big Daddy Dave's Transport. That's the name of my company. I haven't used that for a lot of years. I've just been been basically a savings account. That's what I used it for, just a savings account. I've been using my personal account for my business expenses. Stupid thing to do, I know, but I've been doing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that account temporarily for the Give, Send, Go, all that kind of stuff, so we can get some funds coming in so that we can do the things that we're wanting to do. What we're gonna do over the next 2 weeks is we're going to do small convoys into the surrounding areas. Occasionally we're gonna go into DC just to let them know we're still there, as money permits. Now, if the money doesn't come in, guys, if the money doesn't come in a few days, we just have to go home. There's absolutely nothing, we can't do it without money. So if the money doesn't come in, then the American people has lost faith, and that's fine. And I accept that. And if they lose faith and no longer want to support it, then we have to go home. But if the money comes in where we can do what we need to do, and we need people on the ground to pull off a protest as big as what we're needing, we have to have a massive amount of people. That's all there is to it. If we roll in with, we had 64 vehicles when we were getting ready to go in at 1 o'clock that morning. We had 60, I was going in. It was not the best plan, but I felt like if we went in, that the American people would see that we were serious and they would come. I really did, and I still do. I still believe I believe in the American people. The American people, we're Americans, for crying out loud. We've always got it done. Do you realize that when World War II started, we didn't have a massive military, and most of our naval forces had just been decimated. A lot of them, not most of them, but a lot of them had been decimated. Some of our key components to our Navy was laying in the bottom of the bay. But man, when we came out, they stopped making cars. They stopped making refrigerators. They stopped making everything and started making war materials. And man, we kick butt when we get together. That's the American people. And I believe that spirit still lives in the American people. I believe that's still here. I believe that the American people, when they see real leadership stand up and say, enough's enough. I've been waiting for years for this movement to start. I've been waiting for years for somebody to step out and say, let's take our grievances to Washington, D.C. in a massive effort to get their attention. I just wanted to be a driver in it. That's all I came out to be. You explain the rest. I can't. I cannot explain the rest. So for the next 2 weeks, to get back to your question, for the next 2 weeks, at least the next 2 weeks, we're going to try to build our awareness locally, because we're in a very, very friendly area. I mean, we got sheriff's departments here. We got your back. We're running extra patrols around your place. God put us here. That's all I gotta say. God put us right here where we needed to be. This is where we were coming, when we were coming from, when I made that plea to try to raise $15,000, this is the place we were coming. You get the 15, remember, 100 vehicles, $150 a piece, $15,000. Remember that? Remember that? We had about 100 vehicles. It was $150 a vehicle. That's what they were charging here. They have since dropped that to $100 a vehicle. So this is where I wanted to come to start with. And somewhere along the way, it reverted us right back to Hagerstown, which, what can I say? It's not mine. I'm just a little piece of it. And the Hagerstown people have been good to us. I'm not saying that, but I felt like we needed to be here because we literally had worn our welcome out at Hagerstown. And so now we're here, and I feel that piece of where we're at. So for the next 2 weeks, we need to build. We need people to get over their hurt. I know you're hurt. I know you're disappointed. I know you're disgusted. We all are. But we can't do that right on and on and on. And you can't let that, look, you can't let it take you out of the fight, and you can't let it take the fight out of you. You just can't do that. What is freedom worth? Is it worth getting over it and getting back in the fight? I don't know. You tell me. What's it worth to you? Is having your individual liberties restored at the place that they're supposed to be? Is it worth getting over this? I have done nothing but show who I am. I have not candy-coated who I am. I am who I am. I'm fallible. I've got a little bit of a temper. A little bit. But I'm honest. And I think you guys know my heart. Especially you sitting in this room. I have never lied to one of you. And if I have misinformed you and I found out about it, I come back and make it right. I don't play that game. I believe in what I say. I do my best to live every day by what I say. And if that's not enough for the American people, I'm just the leader of this. This is not about me, though. I want you to understand that. This is not about me. If they take me out, somebody's got to step up and do it until it's done. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter who leads this, as long as they're going to get the job done. Because guys, honestly, they're probably going to take me out at some point. Somebody has to step up and do it. And that may be you. You know, whoever it is. One of the things that, and I've said this many, many times, one of the things that gave us the success we had in World War II was our soldiers were trained the mission, the mission, the mission. It wasn't about who was beside you or who was around you or what you had in your hands. You got the mission done. The German soldiers were not that way. It was a fascist country. So they were told what to do, and if they were not told what to do, they didn't know what to do. And D-Day happened to happen when a lot of their commanders were back in Berlin, and you know, they fought valiantly, but until somebody's telling them what to do, they don't know what to do. We need people that just get it done. Rose is always on me all the time. You need to talk this out with other people. I'm sorry. I just get it done. Let's get it done. That's the way I've lived my life. Get it done. Does that answer that question, Joe?
Yeah, so pretty much
We're building.
go local for the next 2 weeks, and depending on the money that comes through, we'll make you guys will make the decision 2 weeks from now that what's going to happen.
Just to kind of explain where we're sitting. I just told you it was almost $1,300 to fill up the vehicles today. I was just over at the camp before I came here, and they asked me, or I asked them, I said, who needs fuel in the morning? Hands went up everywhere. Now, it's not gonna be 1,300 because the big trucks aren't gonna need it because we can last longer. But trust me, if we went over there tomorrow and done it again, it'd be 1,300 or more.
Okay.
And we've only got 13,000. Or maybe 15,000, I haven't got it all figured out. I've got my cash app that I've gotta transfer out. I'll find out about that. So I'll let you know that next meeting. But, so let's just say that I can pull that money out in 3 days, or 2 days now. Throw that in there, that's total of 15,000 that's available. That would be available in the near future. So we've got that kind of money. That's not very many fill-ups. That's only about 10, 12 days of fill-ups. You know, and if we're doing that DC run every day, you understand why I'm not wanting to go, I can't go to DC every day. Number one, it's fruitless to go down there. We're not building anything down there. But if we go around here and we're passing out our flyers and we're generating people to come in with us, then now we're starting to build something. I'm not here, yet today was just to kind of poke them in the eye and say, yeah, we're still here, you know? But tomorrow, we have to build. We have to build, we have to build. We have to recruit people in, bring them in, get them ready, train them to go in to go in and do what we need to do. So give us time, give us time. Give us, all I've ever asked for is grace and mercy. Just give us grace and mercy.
Okay, no offense, but,
When you start off that way,
just saying.
it's usually
Yeah, this
gonna
is
offend
only
me.
the second round of questions, and people are stacking up on questions. They
Yeah.
wanna ask you questions, and you're a little winded, we love hearing you, but they wanna hear a little
Oh,
more
okay, that was what,
questions.
no offense taken.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, I've kinda got three, questions. One was back to that media thing. The gentleman wants to know if you'll even consider it, because at least being annoying to them might get us on the news, which would get us more national attention. Think about that, you don't have to answer. The other question was, back before you started asking Joe, you were talking about your lieutenants and your sergeants and stuff. Are there any way for people to contact them to give ideas, like going and talking to the, protesting the media or something like that? Is there any way to reach them for that? And, which I wanted to touch on. And then the last one was,
One question at a time, sir.
Well,
the last one was, do we have any ties to the state level stuff that's going on that switched from TPC to the other organization now?
what other organization?
I don't remember what the name is, but they changed their name to a different, they're not TPC anymore.
There's a whole bunch of.
So a whole bunch of the state pages changed over, they're now another organization. And I'll take that as a you don't know, so probably so far we don't.
I have nothing to do with state levels. I would,
Okay.
there are state level, I believe in the state level convoy apparatus, the movement apparatus. If somebody wants to, right now, I can't afford to take my time and build state level stuff right now, because we gotta build this one. Once we have a strong national movement, then we can take that to the state levels as well. And, but I believe in that wholeheartedly.
I'm in
And,
contact with them helping us maybe, because they're already kind of established.
well, the thing about it is how do I say this? One of the state level ran organizations was part of this organization, and I appreciate what they're doing now, but they never wanted to do what we're doing now either. They've already told me that they disagree with what I'm planning. And so, I mean, unless your methods are the same, your message is the same, then I totally support it. To hit them state houses, absolutely. So,
Back to the lieutenants and the sergeants.
social media, again, same question you had a while ago. Just go
Because they
to
wanna
their
know
social
who they
media.
are to
Well,
contact them.
those people are here to advise me on things that are local. They're to keep the local people from coming straight to me. They're not really for the people outside of here. But social media is where you need to go.
Next time we need to put name placards in front of everybody, because the people that come in late apparently have no idea who Santa is.
That's a good thing. That's actually a good thing.
I don't know who the guy is.
So anyway, I'm Santa. Thank you very much. You got a question?
No, it sounds like we're all getting the same exact questions on our live streams.
Okay. Anybody else?
It's good attention.
I did have one. So, if the movement goes as we would plan, so you're getting all the finances set up, we start getting donations here. Obviously, you kind of just set out some of your plan. We were going to go local. When would we plan on going to DC? When would you suggest, if everything went well, when we would at least be near DC, an approximate date, so people could start planning from that live hours away that want to join us?
This is all contingent on what happens over the next 2 weeks, all right? I will give a date. I'm not going to, there's no reason to keep, they know what we're doing now. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you on this date, I won't give the time, but I will give the date. We will actually set a date. This is all contingent on, if this organization is able to come together. Look, I want freedom, but I'm not married to this organization. Understand that. This isn't my baby. If this organization doesn't come together, then we have to accept that the American people, we have burnt them so bad with the past organization. They have been burnt so bad that they are no longer willing to support it. If they're not willing to support it, folks, there's nothing we can do about that. Absolutely nothing we can do about that. And we'll have to close it down, and we'll have to go home. And if that's what the American people so chooses to do, then they have that right to do that, and I understand that. I will retire peacefully. We'll all have a good cry on each other's shoulders, and we will go home if that's what the American people want us to do. And I'll go back to work, and I'll wait for the next organization to rise up that will handle things correctly from the beginning and do it right. I would like for this to be that organization that does that. I believe we have the apparatus in place to do that. I believe we have the people in place to do that. And but do the American people believe that? Look, I only have a limited amount of dollars myself I can donate, and trust me, I'm pretty close to being to that amount, and so I can't fund it on my own. This has to be the people that do this, and if the people choose not to, then we'll just have to go home. So
I think you've pretty much answered stuff. I'll say one. What are you prepared and willing to do outside of driving in circles to advance your message?
Don't think we've been driving in circles today. Everything we're doing is strategic. If you don't understand what we say, strategery. If you don't understand strategery, if you don't understand strategy, then I don't know how to explain it to you. The people here needed today. They needed to go down there and give a little
honk,
middle finger. And they loved it. The people that were here, these people were fired up when I come back in. I came in as they were coming in. They were doing laps around the parking lot, horns blaring, and it wasn't just Big D doing donuts today. Everybody was doing donuts. They needed that. That's what that's about, guys. It's about morale. We have to keep morale up. That's why I sent them in. I knew I've been in DC. That's exciting, but there's that's part of the reason I sent them in. We have to have morale. I told them at the evening meeting tonight, which was very short because I had to run out to come over here. I told them, I said, you know, it wasn't really, outside of building morale and excitement in the camp, it really wasn't productive. That's very productive, but as far as advancing our cause, it's not. So tomorrow, we're going to start being productive, really productive, and building the movement with people, bringing people in. These people are just a few miles away from us. They can easily come and join us and do what needs to be done. Let me tell you something, guys. When we go into DC, 64 ain't going to cut it to get it done. Oh, we're going in, and we're going to show the world how nasty these people are. But that's all we're going to get done. What we need is about 200 to go in, and we need about 1,000 that do not go in, but they hang on the outside, and they wait for them to jackboot us, and then they roll in. See what I'm saying? And then the next wave rolls in, and then the next wave rolls in. We have to have tons of vehicles. We need people. We need to fill DC up. Somebody told me the other day on my live stream, they said, and he's a good guy. I'm not saying anything about that. He's totally for us. But he said, what you're asking for as far as millions of vehicles in DC, he said it's a logistical nightmare. He said you can't logistically make that happen. I said, brother, you still think it's a rally. It's not a rally, it's a protest. I said, how you do that logistically is you drive down the street till you find a street full of patriots that have stopped their cars, and you pull up next to the closest one, shut off your car, roll down your window, and have a conversation with them, because right now you're in the protest. It really doesn't take a lot of logistics to make that happen. It's time that DC knows that the people are fed up with their nonsense, and we're showing up to redress our grievances with them. That's all this is about. If you bring a gun into this, if you bring a knife into this, if you come here with violence, please stay away. You're an enemy to the cause. You're a flat out an enemy to the cause. This has to be done peacefully. It can be done peacefully, but they will ignore us as long as we let them ignore us. And we skipped over you. This will be the last question.
This guy here is in Indiana, and he wants to know what happens when there's a first sign of failure of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. What would be the way to go around and to get out of that position?
As far as failure,
If we experience some type of failure, yes.
if this, again,
Because we know the TPC failed.
right.
So,
Again, if the money runs out, there's nothing we can do. There's absolutely nothing we can do. If when we begin to shut this one down, if we have to shut this one down because of failure, it will be shut down with full transparency. But if we can get the support, the people here, the finances in order to do it, the failure will be me having knot speed on my head by a billy club and my truck in an impound yard. That would be, that's the failure that I will accept. That's the only failure I will accept with a glad heart. Any other failure but that will be, it'll kill me. Because I know that after that failure, we're in trouble. We're in serious trouble. I'm not here because I want to be here. I've not seen my family for any length of time. I went home for one day and spent with my son, my grandson. My granddaughter didn't get to see her. She was at her other grandparents' house. Didn't get to see my granddaughter. I didn't even get to see my mom. I've been out for, today's Wednesday. 12 weeks today. 12 weeks today I've been here. 12 weeks I haven't made a paycheck. And you ask me if I'm serious? Have you lost your mind? Am I serious? 12 weeks away from my family? 12 weeks without a paycheck? You think I'm here playing games with people? I'm dead serious about this, guys. Because I know that I'm a peaceful man. But if this movement fails, what comes behind that is not peaceful men. It's not peaceful men.
Can I do one last question, please,
Yeah.
real quick? Do you have a date of when you will release the date?
Let me see what happens over the next few days. Once we get our funding up and running, I can't do anything until I realize if the American people are going to support us or not. I don't know that.
From what I see, and I think most of us probably agree, people keep asking that, so I think they will support.
I believe in them. I believe in them. I do. But I can't start spitting out dates until I'm a cautious man. It may seem like I'm not. It may seem like I'm a, Wild Bill Hickok. I'm not. Very cautious man, very leveled, very strategic. Everything I do, I want it to have a purpose. Even when I raise my voice and get loud with somebody, it's strategic. Now, when I get passionate, that's different. When I'm talking about something, I get passionate, that's different. That's straight from my gut. But if I'm in we were all together the other day, and a young man had 2 times interrupted our meeting.
Right.
I'm not going to put up with that. The only way he would listen was if I got loud with him. And I actually had to stand up. I'm pretty much in control of myself. I worked in a prison for 15 years, for crying out loud. I'm outnumbered, what was that, almost 3,000 on a shift, maybe 60 officers. You learn how to control yourself pretty quick at that point, because when you're outnumbered at that, that's worse than the Alamo,
Mm-hmm.
So
Last thing, so we'll keep getting this because I think people are coming in late. So we'll have a link to donate to probably by tomorrow once we get that Give Send Go set up.
if we can get that figured out tonight, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, guys, there will be a Give Send Go that we'll share with you as soon as that gets set up.
yeah.
Just to elaborate on the last question he asked, do you have a set of number of people that I know you mentioned 200 and 1,000.
No,
But
I don't have a set number.
You don't have a set number? Because they keep asking if we get that number here, will we go in that thing? I mean, there's still people with hope out there, but the biggest issue I see right now, and it's not to be offensive to you whatsoever,
No.
people are seeing the same cycle as what happened with the first convoy.
Okay.
Tell them it's day 5.
Let me explain that.
I mean, day 5, but it's a carryover from
From
the viewers. For the
They
viewers,
feel
for
it's
the
not
viewers,
big.
it's a carryover. For us that are here physically, it's not a carryover because we could see what's going on. But
Well,
for
that's our
for-
job to relay that to them too.
Well, let me just
But they want
address
to
it.
hear from him, not from us.
Let me just address it.
True.
You cannot expect us to be able to do what we had been doing before, because we had nothing. We still don't have a reefer trailer for donations that have to be refrigerated. We had, we got and I know it sounds like, and it is a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? If it was in my bank account, it would be a lot of money, but when you've got the expenditures that we have, you gotta think, larger than that. I'm not a small thinker, by the way. I don't think small, I think big. So when I say $1 million, $2 million, that doesn't mean that I have to have $1 million, $2 million to do this. That's what we need as a nation. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people wouldn't come at this time when we've got this opportunity. The time is right now. We feel it. All of us are here because we feel that. And I know people at home feel that as well. But if we had 200, honestly, if we had 200, I'd really seriously consider pulling the trigger right then. Because we can make a big difference with 200. We can make a bigger difference with 500. You see what I'm saying?
Is it 200 vehicles or 200 people?
200 vehicles.
200 vehicles.
Yeah, that'd be. I wouldn't pull it the next day, because again, there's gotta be strategy and all that involved, but it wouldn't end pretty soon. I don't wanna mention names and times, but, be very, very close to that, that number being met. Very, very close.
Thank you.
Yeah. I thank you guys. Thank you, everyone. I'm not gonna shy away from hard questions, and I get it. I get why they have the hard questions. I've got the hard questions too. I just wish they had better answers to those. I don't know. I don't know about what, I know what I was told, knew what we were told we were gonna do. It didn't happen. Okay, it's a failure. We can wallow in the failure, or we can get back up and do something about it. My heart's still here. My fight's still in me. It hadn't abated one bit. I just don't have the mechanism to get done what needs to get done. When I have the mechanism, if you guys will trust me, and not just, it isn't about me. If you just trust yourselves, yeah, this is going to be a whole lot different, because we don't have that big bloated. We don't have that big bloated mechanism that's controlling it. That's why, and a lot of people got upset because it said I'm the leader. You understand why I said that? I don't want that again. I've got great people that are advising me, including the people in this room that are advising me. I'm not a tyrant, am I? Have I come across a tyrant to any of you? I want information. And that board that we have, or not board, but that group that we have that are, giving me the information that's needed and things like that, that's going to change. Some of them people have to go home. Some of them, some more will be added. You know what I'm saying? I want all the information I can get, but I can't handle it from every portion of the globe. So I enjoyed this. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance to address the American people. You guys are the new media. That's all there is to it. You guys are the new media. And I appreciate every one of you.
Can I pray us out?
What's that?
Can I pray us out?
Yes, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you, God, and we just ask, God, for the American people to listen to you, Lord, to listen to where this country is, to listen to what has happened to our nation when this constitutional republic should be such a strong nation and a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Listen to your neighbors. Listen to the moms in your mom's group, the people in the church. What are we all complaining about? It has a lot to do with what's happening with our government. People are losing jobs left and right. God, please help us remember these are our people. These are moms, dads, grandmas and grandpas that live down the street from us that are just like us. The firefighters that are thousands at a time ready to lose their jobs because our Constitution isn't in place, because our Constitution is being overlooked. What about the military men and women who have served this country so well, and they are being let go by the dozens? Nurses, doctors who don't even know if they will have a job tomorrow. This is America. What are we letting happen to our country on our watch? Lord, please allow us to understand. Allow us to realize and understand how important this is, how crucial this moment in this time in our country. This is not happening in another country. This is not happening to someone somewhere else. This is happening to us, to the American people. This is not happening where they've had years of war-torn terror in their country. This is not happening to a nation that has been a third world country for decades. No, this is the mighty American government. And this is happening to us, to our brothers and sisters, to our moms and dads, to our children, to our children. Lord, please help us remember that we are responsible for helping those who cannot stand up for themselves, for helping those children who will inherit this. This is what we're going to give them? Please, Lord, help us. Help us understand that this has to happen now, in a peaceful way, in a way that we can make a difference in our time for such a time as this. Lord, please help us remember that we need to pass down the goodness of this land, the blessing that you've given us, God. You've given such incredible blessings here. Yet now we're looking at our freedoms being taken one by one. Our freedoms. Speech, religion, our freedom to protect ourselves with whatever weapon we choose. Lord, we need to be able to have our freedoms that you've given us, God, to protect our families. Even if it's just in a word, or going to pray, or standing up in front of our homes because our children are right behind us in that room playing on the ground, on the floor with their mama. Lord God, help us remember this country was founded on these principles, these great principles in this Constitution that you gave our forefathers, God. Help us remember how unique and incredible this government is when it works well, when people are not subverting the Constitution and taking advantage for their own gain. Please, God, help us remember that this is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And we, the people, need to stand up. We need to reread the Constitution. We need to get that copy if we don't have it. We need to educate ourselves. Educate ourselves on what is lacking. God, please help us remember we've been given so much, entrusted with so much. And we, as men and women of America, need to stand up and not hand down some horrible excuse of a government and a constitution that is failing. We need to stand up and get things back in place, redress those grievances just like it says we can do in the Constitution. We need to be our government. We need to stand up and say, this is ours. if you can't handle the job that we've given you to do, then we need to say, this is ours. We will handle it. Lord, please help us to be strong and bold Americans. Help us to remember, even if we're in our senior years, even if we're older than most of our years have already gone. Lord God, help us remember America is such a unique place. That Constitution, our government, unlike any other government in the entire world. Help us remember, young and old, it is worth fighting for, peacefully protesting for, standing up for, being available for, taking your vacation for, getting your savings and helping for. It is worth it because it is your country, your government, your constitution. It is your children's inheritance in this land and your children's children and generations to come. And we need to stand up. Please, Lord, help us remember we are put here at this time and we are responsible and need to stand up. Young and old, rich and poor, male and female, we need to stand up and fight this fight. Thank you, God, for giving us such blessing here in this United States. Lord God, thank you for helping us remember who we are as Americans and that we don't roll over and just let it happen to us. Thank you for making us a bold and courageous nation and for having men and women from all over this country come and join us. I thank you, God, for what you are about to do in this movement. And I praise you, God, for giving us such a great nation. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, we're going to end this live. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for asking your questions, being patient, dealing with the troll, and thank you.
Some of the questions.
And,
Answer all the questions.
and it's going to be transparent. We're going to do this probably
Yeah,
once a
put it
week,
down.
something like that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed
They were going to, I think it's more important to ask, though there's many questions in there. Tomorrow, yet, I think I can come back to,
Again,
back to me.
I'm gonna go ahead and,
Alright, because I'm tired.
again, guys, if you want help on it, for me to be here documenting this and to continue the live, so thank you. If I'm up dirty, not expense, you can do it through Zelle or your bank transfer, your bank app.
Tomorrow, I will not be live streaming. Friday, I will not be live streaming.
Has all that information.
I'm gonna take 2 days off for
God
myself.
bless you.
And then,
All right, you guys, I'm going to end this feed. Thank you guys for tuning in. I think Santa did the best he could for answering questions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, he was a little long-winded, but that's who he is. And hopefully as this proceeds and whatever he does, you know, when it comes time for things like that, he'll answer them more questions. He's new to this, so when I get everybody's frustrations, I get it. So if you guys would like to help contribute to me being here, to stay out here, you can go to onamericanstreets.com/donate to contribute, or go to the areas that are pinned in YouTube or on Facebook. I can't do cash apps on this YouTube channel. I can't monetize on here, so everything is through the website or the links that are pinned. appreciate you guys for tuning in. See you tomorrow. All right, doggone hog, I see you. You better get here. You better get here. All right, you guys. Talk to you later. God bless.